How's it going, you guys? So I'm just out here right now, relaxing while I cook my post-workout meal. Just had a hardcore workout. For those of you who've been following me for a while, you know I've been doing jiu-jitsu about 3 hours a day, 5 times a week. And as well as strength and conditioning work. As soon as I wake up, I do it fasted every morning for about 1 to 2 hours a day. I've been a strength and conditioning coach and personal trainer for about 6 years now. And I wanted to make a video discussing Frank Tufano again, just because he gives out the worst advice, and not so much, it's not even about how bad his advice is, but it's just he's a liar, and he's got some severe mental illness that is, you know, guiding a lot of his just really strange logic. Okay, so first of all, Frank Tufano has been caught lying over and over again. Okay, so he has lied about his health conditions. He's had health problems ever since he got on YouTube in 2018. And he keeps changing whatever he thinks the cause is of his health problems. And that's very important to point out, because he's giving out health advice to other people and trying to help them reverse their own health issues. And I've said time and time again, if you're following somebody who's giving you advice on how to reverse health problems and diseases, or how to be healthy, and they can't even solve their own health problems themselves, then you probably shouldn't be following them. You want to follow people who have the health that you want, the results that you want, and who are actually genuine, you know. So that's the first thing, okay? So time and time again, first he said it was an electrolyte imbalance, which I think it was. Then he said it was histamine intolerance. Then he said it was EMF waves, and he still says that. Then he said it was iron overload. Then he said it was the stress of the vegan gains debate, which he, you know, still went and debated him again, not twice, but 3 times, despite the fact that he claimed that that was what was causing his chronic insomnia and other health problems, the bags under his eyes and everything. For the first 2, I don't know about now, but for the first 2 years on YouTube, he was wearing makeup. It was extremely obvious, and he kept lying about it, which is just ridiculous. It's okay if you want to look pretty for a camera. Another thing is, what was another thing? So, also, when he first got on YouTube, he claimed that he was only carnivore since 2017. But then he deleted those videos, conveniently so, deleted those videos, and then claimed he's been carnivore for over 7 years. So he's lying about how long he's been carnivore. There's posts of him talking about eating bread, sprouted grain bread, around 2017. And another thing is, I mean, he's been getting multiple surgeries on his body, on his face, plastic surgeries, things on his jaw. He also, and the thing is, getting surgery is not a bad thing, but it gives you an idea of, you know, where the person's coming from and how much they really care about their appearance, right? How much they care about their appearance, not only public appearance as far as their persona and their reputation, but also physical appearance, right? And that's important because that gives them an incentive to lie about certain things. For example, so Frank Tufano also got gynecomastia surgery randomly, just out of nowhere, last year, I think like in November. I believe it was in November. But it was about 1, maybe 2 months before he announced that he was doing a bodybuilding experiment. He had just gotten random gynecomastia surgery, and everybody on that post was wondering why he was getting gynecomastia surgery, because there's nothing wrong with his nipples, right? And that was about 1, maybe 2 months before he started his bodybuilding experiment. Then he started his bodybuilding experiment, and he was talking a whole bunch of nonsense. He posted a workout video where basically his form was asking for a rotator cuff injury. He was doing chest flies with his elbow way past the natural joint range of motion where it should be. Anybody who ever took a personal training course or has ever trained for more than 1 month would have known by then that his form would definitely kill someone's shoulders. It's just horrible to claim that you're an authority on fitness or health or anything and have that horrible form. Then his deadlift form was hunchback and it was horrible. And he wasn't even lifting weights that were heavy enough to produce growth. Then he just tried justifying it by saying that progressive overload is a myth. And that is ridiculous. That just goes to show you how little knowledge the guy actually has on training. He doesn't actually even understand what progressive overload is. He thinks progressive overload is just constantly lifting heavier weights over and over again when it's not. Progressive overload means that you're progressively putting your muscles under more stress over time. That doesn't have to mean weight. That can mean more time under tension, which means slower tempo, which is what Frank seemed to be trying to do. That could mean more reps, more sets, more weight. That could mean less rest in between sets. It could mean more frequency. Progressive overload doesn't have to be more weight. But Frank Tufano seems to think that it just means, you know, being a meathead, blah, 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 lifting more weight, blah, blah, blah. Frank has no clue what progressive overload even is, yet he's constantly claiming progressive overload is bro science, which is not. Let's see. I mean, there's a million of things now that are all publicly available, but all of his fans don't seem to care about how ridiculous he is. There's millions of things to talk about here. What's the other thing? Well, you know, he's lied about being, you know, either bisexual or gay, ever since he started on YouTube, which, you know, for me, I don't care. It's not bad. You're set to be like homosexual at all. It's not bad. But the fact that he's lying about homosexuality, and he's actually been proven. So first of all, ever since it's been on YouTube, there's been countless clips of Frank Tufano starring in gay romance films. So he starred in multiple gay romance films. And then in the last year, somebody posted a video of Frank Tufano on a sex website. I think it was Chatterbait. I don't know. And he admitted on film, and apparently he was actually naked there. He admitted on film in a gay Chatterbait room that he prostituted himself to old men. Okay, and that's something, I don't know if they deleted all the videos, but you should be able to still find them. And Frank Tufano came out making a video where he admitted that he might be a little bit gay, and now he seems to be claiming that he's straight again. So, I don't care about someone's sexuality, but what I care about is someone and their honesty when they're giving health advice to other people. And so, first of all, he's lied about a million different things as far as his health journey and things pertaining to health, but he's also lying about his sexuality. He lied about his makeup. He's lied about many different things. And if you're trying to take health advice from someone and you don't care about their honesty, that's a serious problem. So again, he's got gynecomastia surgery randomly before he started his bodybuilding thing. And then he claimed progressive overload is a myth and you could just lift like super tiny weights that even vegan teenage girls, like 13-year-olds, can lift heavier than Frank with way better form. Frank's form is horrible. Like, you're going to pull a disc. And that's probably why he lifts such light weight, because his form is so shitty. And if he lifted any respectable weight whatsoever, if he was lifting as much as those vegan girls were lifting, he would break his back. But anyway, his physique is really not that impressive, which, by the way, he created like a, what was it, like a progress video, like 2 months after he started, and he lied about how much muscle he gained, but his physique's not really that impressive for someone who claims natural, other than how lean he is. But I think he got gynecomastia surgery because he started some kind of steroid cycle. That's what I think. The reason why I say that is because of how lean his muscle is and how vascular he is. and the fact that his weight training philosophy is not conducive to actually making muscle gains, I'm thinking that he probably took he's been taking some type of performance enhancing drug. And the biggest reason why I say that, not only because of the gynecomastia surgery and the way his physique has been, has shaped out to be, is also because he had posted on a Reddit forum, and it's been proven that this was his account. He was talking about his curiosity with growth hormone and testosterone. And this was in 2018. So he's shown interest in growth hormone and steroids. He got gynecomastia surgery a month before his bodybuilding thing. And by the way, that gynecomastia surgery also took place about 2 months after he was doing a fundraiser for his Frankie's Free Range Meat Company. So I am skeptical and wondering if maybe he paid for that gynecomastia surgery with some of that money, but who knows, right? So gynecomastia surgery, horrible lifting philosophy, kind of, what would you say, suspicious attributes to his physique despite the shitty lifting philosophy, and posted on forums about steroid use. And he has a really bad track record of being dishonest, okay? So, back to his health advice. So this guy has made unsubstantiated claims about conventionally raised meat. Not to say that conventionally raised meat is ideal, but he's claimed all sorts of things, like if you eat conventionally raised meat, you're going to have, like, low testosterone and high estrogen, and it's going to turn you into a soy boy, which, you know, I would say eating grass-fed, you know, organic, locally raised meat is ideal, obviously, but a lot of people can't afford it, and they still reverse chronic health problems on carnivore diets despite that. He's criticized, like anytime somebody says anything, like Paul Saladino started saying, nose to tail carnivore. And then all of a sudden, Frank Tufano came out and started claiming that Paul Saladino was plagiarizing him. Newsflash, motherfuckers. Nose to tail, eating nose to tail, is not Frank Tufano's trademark. It's not, Frank Tufano wasn't the first person to make it up. Nose to tail eating's been talked about for years by paleo scientists like Lauren Cordain's mentioned it. There's Boyd Eden, and then there was Amber O'Hearn. There was Stefansson's mentioned nose to tail eating. And zero carb carnivore has been a huge thing since like 2003. And there's been a lot of people on YouTube talking about it since then. And there's been these carnivore groups which eventually kicked Frank Tufano out because he was just being a straight-up dickhead on these carnivore forums. And these things have been around for a long time. So Frank Tufano didn't create it, and Paul Saladino saying eat nose to tail carnivore is not plagiarizing Frank. Like, I don't know how people actually follow Frank or how they believe in Frank. It's just crazy. And then Frank Tufano claimed Dr. Berg was plagiarizing him because Frank blamed his blood sugar issues and his sodium deficiency, his electrolyte imbalance problems that he's been dealing with ever since he started carnivore. Because Frank's been eating honey ever since he started carnivore. Frank has been eating honey on and off since he started carnivore. So he's never really been doing it properly. And he also has not really been supplementing electrolytes, yet he's been suffering from a lot of symptoms of electrolyte deficiency and blood sugar problems. Then he claims he has iron overload randomly, and he has no blood tests to prove it. Frank Tufano had no blood tests to prove his so-called iron overload, and he claims he'd have to get like a biopsy of his liver to do so because of copper imbalances and blah, blah, blah. Always has a complicated explanation for why he's not a liar. Still having problems, apparently, claiming it's EMFs now. And then when Dr. Berg made a video about iron overload symptoms and things, and Frank Tufano claimed that Dr. Berg was plagiarizing him because he made a video about iron overload like a couple weeks after Frank did. What's really funny is that, number one, Dr. Berg's been making videos about iron overload since before Frank Tufano's even been on YouTube. Okay, that's the first thing. Frank Tufano probably saw a video about iron overload from Dr. Berg and then thought that that's what he had. So, if anything... And then the other thing is, Frank Tufano has been plagiarizing, you could say. He's been stealing Dr. Berg's presentation of videos. So Dr. Berg has always been dressed up professional, you know, in a really nice button-up shirt, long-sleeve shirt, and had the whiteboard behind him. And Frank Tufano has started doing that as well. He started taking Dr. Berg's style. Now, obviously, that's not plagiarism, and it's fine to be inspired and take things from people like that, you know, because there's a lot of people on YouTube who do use that whiteboard thing. But the thing is, for Frank Tufano to, like, you know, freak out at people like Paul Saladino just because he says nose to tail carnivore and stuff like that, especially, you know, and then Frank Tufano turns around and does the same exact thing that he's complaining about other people, is just ridiculous. And for all of his followers to not care is just ridiculous as well. Then, you know, the other thing is people like Paul Saladino. First of all, Paul Saladino has been recommending grass-fed meat forever, and Frank Tufano claims he's owned by, like, JBS or something. Frank Tufano claims Paul Saladino is owned by corporate meat companies or something, when Paul Saladino's always advocated grass-fed and has never recommended grain-fed. He's always talked against it, and Paul Saladino still claims he's one of those carnivores, he calls them. What was I saying about that? So the other thing is, Frank Tufano is now basically defending Jeff Cavaliere. Frank Tufano is saying Jeff Cavaliere has great advice, so it doesn't matter if he lied to his audience about how strong he is. So basically, AthleanX posted a video of him deadlifting with fake plates and benching with fake plates. And he specifically said that he could deadlift 500 pounds and bench press 315, but then use fake weights to prove it. And Frank Tufano claims it's okay. It's okay to lie to your audience about how strong you are to sell programs, right? Like, hey guys, if you follow my program, you're going to look like me, you're going to be as strong as me. And it's okay to lie about it. It's okay. I'm lying about my results, but you're still going to get those results following my programs. Frank Tufano thinks it's okay to lie to your audience. It's okay to lie about the results you get from your program. It's okay to use fake plates. Frank Tufano thinks it's okay to be a fraud. And he says it's because AthleanX has good advice, so it doesn't matter. Well, guess what? That's actually wrong. A lot of the advice AthleanX gives will actually, some of it will get people injured. For example, AthleanX says he doesn't know how to properly brace for a squat. He said to completely breathe out before you squat, and then like suck in your belly or whatever as you squat down. And that's completely wrong. It'll get someone injured. It'll cause a disc problem. And, you know, you would think that, honestly, you would think AthleanX would know, considering he has a master's degree in physical therapy and everything. But it has nothing to do with your credentials. That is factually wrong. And anybody who's ever done actual heavy weight training for long enough, or has any respectable numbers, or who hangs around strength and conditioning coaches, will tell you right away that that's bullshit and it will get someone injured, okay? And there's a lot of other things that AthleanX has said that's actually not good advice. So, yeah, he doesn't even really, especially in regards to strength. In regards to strength and hypertrophy, you don't want to be following his advice. That's just the way it is. It's just not good advice for getting stronger and getting bigger. And the unsafe bracing of the squat advice that he's given is irresponsible. And now we see that he's actually used fake weights in some of his videos. So no, it's not okay to lie about how strong you are to sell programs. And the reason why I bring this up is because Frank Tufano has been lying about all sorts of things ever since he started. He's been lying about how long he's done carnivore. He's been lying about his makeup. He doesn't even know what's causing his health problems on this diet. He's probably lying about his natural status of his physique. You know, and he's been making up all this crazy stuff about Paul Saladino and Sean Baker. He freaked out at Sean Baker, saying that Sean Baker is like part of the meat world order or something, and he's owned by these big meat companies because he says it's okay to eat grain-fed meat. Well, the reason, so the big thing here is that Frank Tufano's even admitted on camera that he feels left out because Sean Baker and all these other people aren't like kneeling over and like, you know, giving Frank the attention he wants. Frank really has a desperate need for attention for some reason, and he's not getting it from these people. He says they don't include him in their groups or whatever. And so Frank started freaking out and started, you know, getting jealous of all their appearances on Joe Rogan and all this stuff. And he's admitted this indirectly in some of his videos. And then Frank Tufano starts saying that he's owned by that they're working together with the vegans to take him down, and he said they're owned by the CIA. He said that they're owned by the CIA. And he's really like destroyed any bridges he had with any of the other people in the carnivore community because of this, making unsubstantiated claims. And even against Tristan Haggard, Primal Edge Health, who was one of his only friends for so long, moderated the Vegan Gains debate between them twice. And then Frank Tufano starts like claiming that he's part of the meat world order too. And then Tristan from Primal Edge Health offered to put Frank Tufano on his channel to discuss some of these things with them. And Frank Tufano refused because he knew that he was in the wrong. So you should definitely go to Primal Edge Health's channel and look for the Frank Tufano video. I don't know if it's still up. But Tristan did an amazing job pointing out all of the flaws and the logic behind Frank Tufano. And Primal Edge Health, you know, he believes in a lot of this EMF and this, you know, government takeover stuff too. You know, so it's not like he's, you know, biased. He preaches pretty much everything that Frank does. But, you know, but Frank Tufano is just so out there and such a liar that he's still going to call him out. So, also Frank Tufano hired a model to go on a fake date with him on film on Valentine's Day, and and he filmed it, and it turns out she was a pay-to-play model or something like that, and it was just to try to prove to people that he's not gay or something. So, I made videos about a lot of this in the past, and I know that there's things I'm missing. There's a lot of things I'm missing, but the big thing here is Frank Tufano, I believe, has some kind of mental illness, and I think it's pretty obvious, and most people can see this. It's not okay to, like, none of this is okay. It's not okay to lie to your audience. It's not. It's not okay to lie to your audience. It's not okay to have health problems that you don't actually know what's going on and telling people you got it all under control. And it doesn't make sense to follow someone for health information when they're not healthy and they don't actually know what's going on with their own health. It's definitely not okay to make unsubstantiated claims about people, you know, like working together with the vegans to take down Frank Tufano's farm or something, and like, it doesn't make any sense to like follow this guy, like, you know. And he's claiming that, like, the whole world's trying to take him down for some reason. Like, the CIA is trying to censor him and all this. The fact is, Frank Tufano's paranoid. Very paranoid. And people need to really exercise extreme caution, like extreme skepticism, when they're watching his videos. It's not okay to use fake weights to sell programs. Okay? It's not. And again, Frank Tufano's been eating honey since he started this diet. And he's been having problems since he started this diet. He's probably been having electrolyte imbalances. So, yeah, I mean, you know, like, there's lots of other crap I could probably mention, but I think I've pretty much, like, been beating a dead horse. Fact is, most of his fans are just going to see the title of the video, and then they're just going to, like, comment about why they think it doesn't matter. And they think, like, oh, no, you should still follow him and stuff. Like, no. No. You know, claiming people are plagiarizing you because they use a similar term. Especially someone like Paul Saladino, who is so, like, knowledgeable about the science behind the diet. And you listen to Frank Tufano's videos, and if you actually understand physiology, you realize that Frank doesn't really know as much as he acts like he does. And also, Frank Tufano got completely obliterated by Vegan Gains in those debates, and the main reason why I think that's important, because I don't, you know, obviously I'm a meat eater and whatnot, but, and I've, you know, done a carnivore diet for over a year, but the main thing here is that the first question Vegan Gains asked Frank in the first debate was, okay, so why do you think a carnivore diet's healthy? Frank Tufano said, because our ancestors ate the carnivore diet. And then Vegan Gains asked, what evidence do you have that they were healthy? And Frank Tufano had no evidence that the ancestors he's talking about are even healthy. So you're following a diet because your ancestors ate it, but you have no evidence that your ancestors are actually healthy, which means you have no evidence that the diet's actually healthy. And the thing is, if he knew as much as he thought as he says he does about the diet, then he would be able to present evidence. So there's lots of evidence as to why the diet might be healthy. But Frank didn't even know why he thought the diet was healthy. Didn't even know why he's even following the diet in the first place. Just because, you know, ancient humans ate this way. But we don't actually know if he doesn't actually have any evidence to present that they're healthy. And then his excuse was that he just didn't research. He didn't really care about the debate enough. He didn't care. He didn't give a crap about Vegan Gains, so he didn't research beforehand. Well, but then after the debate happened, he claimed that it was killing him. The stress was killing him, and he cared so much. He cared so much about how poorly he did during the debate after it was over, but didn't care beforehand to research enough. And that's just false. Fact is, Frank didn't know what the hell he was talking about, got smashed on the debate, felt embarrassed, and then tried to cover it up after the fact. And that's just the way he's done everything. So, yeah, I'm going to go eat my food now. I think it's pretty obvious that he's crazy. And I think most people probably should not be following his advice. So I'll talk to y'all next time.